Marc, you've advocated for this for how many years?
Since 1990, pretty well full time.
And you got arrested when?
I've been arrested 10 times and jailed 8 times.
So you got a record because of this?
Oh, I have 22 convictions for marijuana.
Okay, and you lost your job?
No. I've worked for myself since I was 16.
Said you'd lost your job. Right?
No. I've lost all my assets 4 times. The police, when they raid you, they take everything. And on a couple of those raids, when they have at least almost $500,000 worth of my stuff, I was never even charged with anything. As it turns out, they didn't ever charge me for it, but they don't give your stuff back, And those are one of the many injustices that will stop now. That's going to be immediately questioned and repudiated in the court.
You haven't held assets.
Because to possess marijuana or anything to do with marijuana is not an illegal product. It's no longer illegally cultivated. It's not illegally sold. It's like tomatoes and lettuce. And there's no sanction on the sale of tomatoes, and tomatoes are legal to possess, and they're also legal to sell. And that's exactly what happened in this Superior Court. They took that word out of criminal law. And that's what I'm here to emphasize, is this could be a remarkable opportunity if Ontarians move quickly enough. And we have a summer coming, and it's a wonderful opportunity. That's when people do a lot of travel in the Northern Hemisphere. And I just think that the ultimate ace in the hole for Toronto is, yes, some people have exaggerated the SARS scare, do not come, that's ridiculous. But marijuana, that means fun times, parties, a cool city, an enlightened state of mind. And believe me, marijuana people don't create problems like alcohol people. You want those kind of tourists. They're laughing and having a good time and eating a whole lot in Toronto restaurants. I mean, come on, that's precisely what really needs to happen. Because City Hall is a proactive place where we would go and make suggestions and recommendations as to how you can deal with it. But what we need first is the acknowledgement. Yes, I need them to say marijuana is legal. We understand that. And then I can say, good. Then you should draw up a set of rules by which everybody understands how this new commerce can be governed, right? Which is a very wise thing to do, because then everybody can have input. So instead of saying marijuana is wrong and it should be illegal, then you can say, well, how will we most effectively do that in a market clear of confusion? So you get more tourists, you get more consumption, you get PST, GST, income taxes, you get safety inspections inside homes. And now, this is the only jurisdiction that can do that. So you can't pass bylaws at a municipal level on an illegal product. You can't regulate an illegal product. So they're never able to do that. But now it's not illegal. So the municipality can take a very strong role in effectively regulating. If it's not effective, people won't obey it. And you have to convince the marijuana people that you're doing it in their interest, as well as everyone else's. And when everybody's on side, it'll work, right? And so now marijuana people can really do whatever they want. So for 5 months, I'm asking them to demonstrate and lobby about all the potential that exists from this situation. And it's clear that I think the police probably won't take anybody's pot, because it's pretty petty when it gets down to it, and they don't need the grief. I'm convinced no police officer wants some teenager or anybody muttering under his breath and dissing him and having this bad experience for the rest of his life over something that's legal and something that is not a source of harm. The most brilliant people in the world smoke marijuana. Ask Paul McCartney.
And the federal government's the legalization slate that they've got on the table right now.
That's a totally regressive thing. That is recriminalization. We are right now in Ontario, everyone who stands on soil in Ontario is not a criminal for having marijuana. What the Parliament is proposing is regressive in every sense. At least 200,000 people in British Columbia alone will be vulnerable to a 14-year offense, something greater than a conspiracy to commit terrorism, which is 10 years in the criminal code, for growing 50 or more plants. I can grow 50 plants in my bathroom, and most people, everybody grows more than 50 plants. Why wouldn't you? There's no shortage of people who want your pot to sell or to give away or whatever. So it's one of these like unlimited resources. Even if everybody in Ontario grows pot, it will have value. And it should be grown by everybody. It would immediately increase the amount of revenue that is generated in this province in the space of those 5 legal months. It'll be staggering between the actual cultivation, the sale of it, the tourism that would result from it, all the ancillary industries, and quite likely, I would dare say, to some detriment to some industry, you'd have a reduction in the alcohol consumption typically consumed throughout a summer. I would say you'll probably see less car accidents. I would say you'd have less young people acting foolishly, because one thing about marijuana and young people is if you have some degree of anxiety, you won't tend to do something, right? You're more attenuated to risk. And so people on marijuana typically don't take risky behavior. You you don't actually see a lot of people outside of the so-called claims by police that people in cars have marijuana issues. But generally, marijuana people, they don't get sick. They don't have accidents. There's a lot of reasons why marijuana is popular. It's just not some mythology we all got. 3 to 4 million people use marijuana for really useful reasons. Even now, I'm quite high. This was very good marijuana, and I am enjoying this interview. And so I'm thinking, well, even this is different because I have never ever been high during a media interview in my life. I make a point to always be completely straight because you have a time elasticity situation happening when you smoke pot. But incredibly enough, you're still around me. So I noticed it hasn't influenced me. And that's an influence this interview. Whereas normally I think, okay, they need something in 20 seconds or less. Got to be real anal for that. So you start cutting off every bit and get right down to the raw components. That's what I'm used to. I'm not used to people actually encouraging me to speak it.
We want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I think Ontario has to consider the possibilities. It's going to be a monumental change. If people embrace this all at once, if you have some people saying, no, we're going to resist this change over the summer, we're still going to be a pain in the ass and trying to, harass people that are smoking marijuana and pretend it's the old days. The old days are gone. They don't exist. This law should have never happened. 1 million Canadians have criminal records and they want their life back. Most of them can't travel to the United States. If you have any life at all in the United States, you can't go. Those are 1 million Canadians can't go to the United States. That's got to end. And people who worry about what will the United States do, the United States will learn from us. That's what happens when you're an enlightened community versus a dark community. Their people will see, boy, it sure would be nice to be like Toronto. It sure would be nice to be like Canada or Ontario. And that's a feeling I'm proud of. I like it when other countries envy what we've got, right? Because we worked hard for it. You're all free to go home. There you go.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Hey, who's planning for Canada?
Of course I am.
There you go. Terrific. Hey, thanks a lot, Angel.
Mark, your mother, or your wife is your grandmother.
Surf Patrol, you know that movie? Yeah. There's a guy dressed just like him that's been dogging me since I got here.
Alright, looks like a truck stop. Yeah, I kind of expected a comfortable amount, 1,000. It's super.
Wait too long, I'm gonna leave it.
Everybody's video and they might as well
do. This is fucking the old kicks ass, I tell you, Ontario. It would have been more better. I would have loved it a little better. It's out of Vancouver. Do you know Vancouver, Canada? Have you ever been there? It's mostly pretty. That's what I want to do. I don't care if it's smoking. In Jamaica, remember that? LostAquarianDreams.com.
Okay, no problem.
Okay?
So where's your dreads then?
The dreads are really cool.
Oh la la! Oh la 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 la
Don't you love my dreads?
Yes, oh my God! How long does that?
20 years.
Oh la la!
So, here's some G's here. This is good, man. This is good. Yeah, keep it safe. They still haven't caught me, man. They can't catch me. By boat, by air, by sea. They can't catch the roster.